first, let's talk about how deputies encountered him.
Yeah. Ceasar Lopez is only 13 years old. And Saturday morning, we got a call about a person passed out along Ronald Reagan Highway. So when deputies arrived, here's this 13-year-old kid, and he's totally out of it. Turns out he got a bottle of liquor from his parents and took some happy pills, as he said, and that combination of the two knocked him out. We Baker acted him and took him to the hospital. And we learned some very disturbing things about him. First and foremost, he was Baker acted in February, and the Osceola Sheriff's Office filed threats against him, a threat charge, a second-degree felony, where he threatened to kill people at an elementary school or a K-8 school. So let's fast forward. So now we've Baker acted him. He's coming to, and we're talking to him, and he is saying stuff like, I want to die and see God. I want to shoot up the West Side K-8 school in Osceola County. He said he wanted to be the next school shooter. He said that he wanted to shoot some kids because they snitched on him. And believe it or not, then we went into his PlayStation and we found that he had photographs of the Parkland shooter, and he had photographs from the Columbine shooting in his PlayStation. At only 13 years of age, he checks all of the boxes, except he has not moved forward on any of the threats. We charged him again once he was finished with his Baker Act evaluation and put him in the Department of Juvenile Justice via our Jack Center, and he's currently incarcerated. His parents are working with us. We're working hand in glove with his parents, but we're deeply concerned about his mental health and his overt threats that he continues to make for at least 2 months in a row. This is the kind of kid that if we don't take seriously, and he shows up at a mall, at a church, at a school with a gun, you would be looking back and go, how many more signs did you need? Because he's exhibited classic signs. Now, I would like to tell you that he's only seeking attention, that he's no threat at all. But I can't take that risk. He is exhibiting the signs and making the statements that not only get you Baker acted, but get you criminally charged. What we must do now is work with the rest of the system and ensure that they take his threats as seriously as we've taken his threats. We've put the mental health people on notice about the extent of his threats and his conduct and his continuing pattern of threats and conduct. We also notified the Department of Juvenile Justice. We've also noticed the judge who heard the case today, who has agreed to hold this young man in custody until a later date. Osceola Sheriff's Office has gone forward with the affidavit that they completed in February and are in the process of, or have by now obtained a warrant for his arrest for the second-degree felony of threats. So at the end of the day, is he just talking? Is he just disturbed? Does he just want attention, good attention or bad attention? I can't answer that, but I can answer this. We're taking him as serious as if he is capable of carrying out what he's threatened.
Does he have access to guns?
He, as far as I know at this time, he does not have access to guns, but I don't know what his parents have in the house. I do know that his parents are working very closely with us, that they are equally as concerned. So we don't have an environment here where the parents are in denial. We don't have an environment where the parents are opposing us. And that's why we told the parents that, look, we normally wouldn't use a 13-year-old's name. We normally wouldn't even do a press release on a 13-year-old that was charged with a threat. But his pattern of conduct and his pattern of threats and the fact that he has in his PlayStation photographs of the Parkland shooter and photographs of the shooting of Columbine tell us that this is a disturbed young man who's facing felony charges, and he is worthy of keeping a very close eye on by the system. That's why we went above and beyond when we put him in the system to make sure that everyone who has the opportunity to create an intervention for him does exactly that.
In the release, I think you said he's a troubled young teen.
He is a troubled young teen. So again, he is a troubled young teen. There is no doubt about that. And I can tell you right now, when you look at the boxes and the warning signs that he's given us, we couldn't do anything other than we're doing today. Let me read all of these for you. He wanted to die and see God. He wanted to shoot up West Side K through 8 school, that's in Osceola County, where he attended. He wanted to be the next school shooter. He wanted to kill a lot of kids. He wanted to kill different kids because they snitched on him and got him expelled from the West Side 8 school. He was expelled, by the way, and he was expelled for threatening kids there. He was charged criminally, and he said that he had buried a handgun in his neighbor's backyard because he didn't want his mother to know that he had one. Now, we have searched and searched and searched that backyard, and we can't find a handgun. Does it mean it's not there? We hope that it means it's not there. But we've searched it with canines, we've searched it with equipment to indicate whether or not we could see an object there or hear an object there from the metal content. We don't see and can't find any evidence of a gun. But what we fear is if he had access to a gun, he'd use it. And we have to take him at face value.
Finding all that stuff on his PlayStation, what does that tell you? Is he idolizing?
Yes, I believe so. Now, you say, well, he's only 13. It only takes like 4 pounds or 7 pounds of pressure on the trigger of a gun to kill someone. So is he fantasizing, or is he idolizing, or is he prepping? We're taking him at his word, and we're doing everything we can to make sure he gets help. But understand, law enforcement is a short-term problem solver. We have turned him over to the mental health folks. We have turned him over to the Department of Juvenile Justice, who both are responsible for long-term assistance. And they need to take him as serious as we think he potentially could be. Because it's too late to say, oh, he's just a kid, oh, he didn't mean it, oh, he was just wanting attention, after he shows up someplace and shoots up the kids.
My last question, what about parents who are concerned? Because, obviously he already made the threats, he was expelled,
Absolutely.
He was charged, that did nothing, because here he is doing it again, and he's 13 years old and drunk. I mean, how do you assure parents that he's not going to return to this school?
The only assurance that we can have that he won't hurt children is if he's in a program someplace and detained. That's the only way we'll know for sure, because understand, he was Baker acted by Osceola County in February, and they file affidavits on him for second-degree felonies. They've gone back and got the warrants since they have now discovered by working with us that on the 24th, he was passed out on the side of the road from drinking liquor and taking quote unquote happy pills on Saturday morning. And then he's espousing all these positions. And then we find that he's got these photographs of the Columbine shooting and a picture of the Parkland shooter in his PlayStation. We're taking this kid serious. And he's got the 1,000-yard stare in his photo.
Sheriff, other than your contact with him on Saturday and Osceola's contact in February, has there been any other charges or any other contact with him?
I don't know of any other contact at this time, and quite frankly, unless it was a felony charge, we can't mention that anyway. But that's part of the follow-up investigation. We made sure that we touched base with everyone who is involved with or could be involved with this young man, because at the end of the day, do we want to see him locked up for the rest of his life for these charges? No. Do we want him out where he can hurt people? No. We've got to find a resolution to this, and until we can find a resolution, he has to be kept behind a locked door for his safety and security and for that of others. I am grateful that his mother and father are working with us and agree that we've got to get this kid some help, because you turn him out and give him a gun with this attitude, we can't guarantee that he won't use it.
Have the parents mentioned why he's acting out in such a way?
I don't have that information today. I'm certain that they've probably provided more details to our detectives, because we would have asked that. But it concerns us, and this is the young man that people at one time wanted to ignore, that, oh, he's just seeking attention. No, we don't ignore words any longer, ever again. Should anyone ever ignore words? We never have, quite frankly, here at the Sheriff's Office. But that's a new day for law enforcement, mental health services, and juvenile systems across the country. We cannot and will not and should not ignore words, because words are precursors to actions. I've studied these active shooters, and historically, there have been previous signs, some more overt and obvious than others, but there have been signs prior to the shooting. Well, as far as we're concerned, he's given us plenty of signs to be careful. Okay?